What started in early August with high expectations finished in late November with a trophy in hand as Spring Lake Park football captured their first state championship since 1991. On this special edition of Sports Den, we welcome in Panther coaches and players from this historic squad to take a look back at the perfect 13-0 season. Panther Power flexes their muscles one final time, coming up next.
And welcome to a special edition of Sports Den. We are honoring and commemorating, looking back at the historic 2025 Class 5A State Football Championship from our Spring Lake Park Panthers. I'm Ted LaRue. He's Matt Dean. And Matt, what a season to be able to look back. 13-0, and you really dive more into just the record, just how dominant this team was through the season. What an impressive campaign, and what a fun way to be able to really cap off with these seniors. You know, that we've been around them for a handful of years, really ever since, you know, they've been in this program as a freshman. To be able to see them close it out with the state championship is special.
Yeah, special class that came in here, this class of 2026, getting it done with John Stewart at the helm. The first state title for the Panthers in nearly a quarter century, and the first one at the Class 5A level for Spring Lake Park. And I mean, it was dominant. First 6 games of the year, all wins by 3 possessions or more in blowout fashion. A couple of tight wins over Buffalo and Brainerd in weeks 7 and 8. But the Panthers march on with a couple of wins to the section title. And then they've got to beat 3 teams that all had played in either one or each of the last 2 prep bowls the last 2 seasons, and they overcome deficits in the first 2 rounds of the state tournament, including trailing 6-0 at the end of the third quarter against Alexandria and Monticello. Won that game in overtime, 17-12 to St. Thomas Academy. They were trailing in the semis, but came back to win it at the bank in a tight state championship game, won 24-21 against Chan to take the title. And you see some of the numbers here, but the offense, 5th in Class 5A in rushing yards per game. They scored the 2nd most points in the Class 5A designation, and the defense tremendous. 28 takeaways, 4 defensive touchdowns of their own throughout the season. And when you give up fewer than 2 touchdowns a game and a point per game average, you're doing something right. And this was a truly dominant Panther season to go 13-0, and they had 3 phases of the game that could all win you a ball game. And if you had all 3 going in the same game, you were unstoppable, and that's what Spring Lake Park did for some stretches this year.
And now we begin our in-studio interviews portion of this special Sports Den episode celebrating the 2025 Class 5A state champions on the gridiron, the Spring Lake Park Panthers. We welcome in head coach John Stewart and defensive coordinator Daulton Ohlinger. And guys, what a phenomenal season it was for you. You know, kind of coming into the season, you know that this was going to be a really experienced team. 18 of 22 starters were seniors, but when did you know that this was going to be a special squad that could accomplish what you eventually ended up accomplishing?
I think as the year went on, we started to think more and more that something special could happen. They're a very talented group. I've been able to watch them since 6th or 7th grade with moving into the community with my youngest son, and knew they were very talented all the way up, and it just started, I would say, maybe homecoming. They had a big win in homecoming, and then just kind of kept snowballing from there.
Like the first few games were very promising. You thought some good things, and we played Armstrong. It kind of solidified that, yeah, we got something going here. And it just took off from there. So yeah.
Yeah, one thing that jumps out to me about the team, and specifically the run once you guys got to the state tournament, you guys ran into 3 teams that all had played in the last 2 iterations of the Prep Bowl. Usually in high school sports, we talk about teams, they get to state, they get a little taste, but that experience is such an important factor. What was it about this group that helped them not get overwhelmed? It was their first trip to state. It was the first for the Panthers in a while. So the first for this group. What was different about them that helped them not need that prior experience and just dive right into it?
Well, they had a lot of experience in the 2 years prior, not state tournament experience, but I think they played in some big games, and some were better than others. But I remember going in the day after the Buffalo win in the section final, and the message was kind of looking at some teams get here and are happy to get here. Those teams usually last a week. And as I looked around the room and they were all staring back at me with just a little bit more intense for a Saturday morning than normal, I was like, oh, we're in a different place right now. Nobody's just saying, hey, we're happy we're here and we're going to go get this. It was like, we're on a mission and we're going to take care of it.
Daulton, I'll say this for you right now. 4 defenders with over 100 tackles this season in 13 games. Those numbers are insane. 3 of them being in your linebacker unit. What can you say about the leaders in the middle of your unit at that linebacker position that were just able to gobble up guys out ball carriers all season long?
Yeah, I think a lot of those guys are the leaders of our defense. I think they set the tone for a lot of things we do, whether it's just preparation or just commanding us during a game of getting us ready for the next drive after we get a 3 and out. They get right back set to what we need to do for the next drive. I think they just, again, set the tone for how we were as a defense.
I think one of the interesting stories, Coach Stewart looking at the offensively, Spring Lake Park football has looked very similar, at least a lot of the hallmarks for a long time. You guys made the move to kind of slightly alter that veer option, go to more the flex bone triple option look this year. What went into that decision-making process coming into the year? Because it felt like that was a big deal for you guys to just tweak the offense a little bit to get a little more out of it.
Yeah, we made a shift. To what went into it was a lot of winter nights staring at clinic film and watching our film and looking at what gives us troubles, what are some solutions. And the structure of the flex bone provides some unique advantages in both the run game and pass game, and we knew we would have some talent in some spots that we want to be able to utilize, but still stay true to option football. It's kind of been a part of Spring Lake Park football for as long as I've known it. And talking with some coaches in the state, coaches around the nation that were really helpful with things, saw that we could do both. And again, the structure let us do that in a way that was different enough that gave our opponents some challenges, but our kids were very familiar, so the transition was pretty smooth.
Now, one thing, kind of what Matt was talking about and how you shifted things offensively, you put the ball in the air a little bit more, maybe a little bit this year as well. It featured, maybe the most dynamic passing attack that Spring Lake Park has seen in a while. What can you, when you take a look at the added layer of your offense, how much did that really contribute to the success that you had down the road? That, hey, not only can you run the football as good as you can, but you can also kind of throw it up to those big wide receivers on the outside as well.
Yep, there's some confidence in, we had some success with it, so you feel like, okay, we can take a shot, and if we don't make it, we have enough other tools to go ahead and make up for it. And we know they can be big splash plays, right? It wasn't always just dink and dunk it down the field. It was like, we're going to take a shot, and we have the kids that can make that play. And I think it also then led to, in many cases, like a lighter box. We didn't have 11 guys playing up on the line of scrimmage saying, okay, come get it. They had to defend us in the back half of the field, and we saw throughout our season that it was just a valuable tool for us.
And Coach Ohlinger, your defense, just over 13 points per game on average. Impressive. Close to 30 takeaways this year. And that was a big part of the Panthers, of course, winning state.
Yeah, we had, like you said earlier, we had a lot of returners coming up, so we knew we were going to be tough. I didn't know we were going to be as good as we were. I knew we were going to be tough. We were pretty good in 2020. We let up like 4 points a game, and we thought we could kind of be similar to that defense with all those returners and how tough we were, but they exceeded my expectations of how tough and all selfless they were on defense and just how hungry they were to be the best.
Yeah, we're getting an impression, right? This was a team that could really, at times, dominate in all 3 phases of the game. We're going to spend time talking more about that here with Spring Lake Park on our Sports Den special. Thanks to Coach Stewart and Coach Ohlinger. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Coming up after the break, we're focused on the dynamic weapons on this offense. We're going to have quarterback Nolan Roach, Calen Truckenbrod, Tyler Wilkinson, and running back Lamari Brown right after this.
North Metro Television.
North Metro TV is the public access television production studio that serves the northern suburbs of Blaine, Centerville, Circle Pines, Ham Lake, Lexington, Lino Lakes, and Spring Lake Park. In addition to teaching the general public how to produce their own programs, NMTV has a production staff dedicated to covering local news and sports, special events, elections, city meetings, and many more items of interest to the northern suburbs.
You are watching North Metro TV.
All right, Matt Dean and Ted LaRue back with you here talking Panther football as we continue to celebrate, break down the 2025 Class 5A state championship season for Spring Lake Park. And in our first segment of player interviews, we're here to talk with some of the offensive weapons from the Spring Lake Park football team. And yeah, Ted, we got a great group here with us. Nolan Roach, quarterback for the Panther football team. Calen Truckenbrod, one of the receivers. Tyler Wilkinson and Lamari Brown, who are an important part of that Spring Lake Park backfield. Guys, each of you, thanks for being here first. My first question for you is for Nolan and Calen. And we do the football preview show, like beginning of every season. We go to practice. Every year we talk to the Panthers, and you guys say, we're going to throw the football a little more this year. You guys actually did it this year. So tell us about like what were some of the talk going into the season. And you guys aired it out this year, Nolan, 1,000-yard passer, and you guys got it going through the air as well as continuing to run the ball like the Panthers usually do.
I could say we talked about it all winter. We knew we were going to have some good guys on the outside, and we knew from years past where we've been more one-dimensional that we needed to be able to throw it so we could run it better. And just having the weapons and the O-line to do it really made it easy for us.
We got a guy named Cade Conkler, and he was all explosive on the outside. And we knew going into the weeks that we were going to throw the ball even before the season, and it was just exciting.
Yeah, we said 1,000 yards passing for Nolan as well, too. And yourself, Conkler, a big part of that passing weapons. Tyler, you have played a lot of different roles in the Spring Lake Park offense over the years. You've taken some snaps at quarterback. You were primarily a running back this season. So kind of tell me about, like, were you reluctant at all to move away from quarterback last season, and why was this Panther offense the best fit when Nolan's at quarterback and you can kind of move around as in different roles?
To be honest, I didn't feel like I was like for sure like set quarterback. Like I felt like I'm an athlete and I can like play pretty much anywhere. And pretty much I would say like put me anywhere, like wherever I can help the most. And when we made that switch, like that just clicked and it worked the best. So yeah.
Now, Nolan, when you talk about this passing attack that you ramped up this year, I mean, you're looking to the outside. You got your guy next to you, Calen Truckenbrod, at 6'4". Cade Conkler out there at 6'2". I mean, more or less high school, even at the college level, those guys are big on the perimeter, just to be able to throw the football up to. How many times do you just kind of like, go to the sideline, whether it's the defense is on the field, to be like, hey, let's just kind of chuck it up to these guys and see what happens? Like, what was kind of that whole process to take advantage of the size on the outside?
I mean, yeah, we probably didn't do it enough. We definitely could have done it more, and we were lucky and we were smart to take some of those shots, which really helped us. I couldn't tell you how many times we threw a fade on the goal line, and it was just super easy because of the size advantage.
Lamari, your backfield had some changes as the season went along. You were kind of one of the constants. But Tyler, he is injured early in the season. You guys are missing him. Marquel Mitchell was a sophomore that really emerged for you guys this year, but you lost him during the playoff run. How does that speak to just the Panther depth? You guys had some pieces moving in and out of the lineup and stayed consistently pretty dominant in the run game all year.
Yeah, that's the best thing about our whole team. Like I said, a lot of our players, if someone goes down or something's happening, we always have someone that can play multiple positions. So when Tyler went down, I knew that we were going to need a wing that could block, and I told coach, and me and coach talked, that if you need me there, I'm willing to make that change. My normal position is running back, and I'm fine with that, but whatever's going to get us to that state championship, that's what everybody on the team's mentality is.
Now, Lamari, when you're in season, you're laser focused on the next opponent, you're laser focused on the task at hand. Now that you're able to kind of see the trophy in the trophy case, and you're able to kind of like look back at your career now, second in SLP history in rushing yards. What does it kind of mean to be in that type of company now that your career is all done here?
It was an amazing opportunity. Coach trusted me when I was young as a freshman. He's been watching me for a while. Gave me the opportunity to strike when I was young, and ever since then I grew an amazing relationship with every single coach, staff, around the whole campus. So it was super nice. All the experience, all the years coming together to finally finish off. Not exactly how I wanted it, but to the best of my capability.
My last question for Nolan and Tyler, the catch against Alexandria. It didn't happen at US Bank Stadium. It was in the backyard of a farm and fleet in Monticello. But one of the highlights of the season for Spring Lake Park at the state tournament, walk us through that play, and where does that kind of rank among some of the top moments of the state tournament run?
I mean, that was kind of a spur-of-the-moment play. That is not the play Coach Stewart called, but he has enough trust in me to trust, and was not pretty, but Calen was able to make a play on it, and it was a great play.
Now, Nolan, you ended your career with one of the best games that you played. I mean, in the state championship game, 162 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns, and then another touchdown through the air. In the midst of all the chaos, was there a moment where you were kind of able to appreciate what you were doing in that stage, or was it kind of like, hey, once we're hoisting the trophy, now I can kind of take a deep breath and be like, man, that was a pretty awesome experience?
No, it was definitely laser focused during the game because we definitely missed and had some miscues, definitely. We only put up 3 points in the second half, but our defense was good enough that was enough, and definitely could have scored more in the second half.
We'll finish with you, Lamari. You were talking before about getting onto the field early. You burst onto the scene immediately. 439 yards and 5 touchdowns in your freshman season. Guys like Braden Talso at quarterback, guys like Jaxon Smith. Was there a moment maybe earlier in your career where you kind of realized that, hey, maybe in 2 years and 3 years down the road that this group that you're together with, this senior group can truly do something special?
Yeah, it's always been a thought since, elementary or, youth. We've always talked about it going head to head, and we just knew with the size and how our coaches build our players that in the future, if we're not going to get the first try, second try, third time, but we're not going to give up by our senior year. We're going to take it all, and that's exactly what we did.
Well, congratulations, guys. It was fun to maybe see the offense opened up a little bit this year, but once again, congratulations. All right, Matt, we are shifting from the offensive side of the ball to the defensive side of the ball. You got some studs in the middle of that defense coming up, don't you?
To win a state title, you got to have a great defense. You got to stop the run. Linebackers, one of the first layers of being able to do that. And we are talking with 3 of the linebackers for the Panthers state championship team. And we come back next on Sports Den.
Good evening. We will call the City Council meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Time is 6:30 p.m. I'm calling to order the City of Centerville Council meeting.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to the City of Circle Pines, Minnesota regular City Council meeting.
Take your City Council anywhere.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ham Lake City Council meeting.
Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, Bill.
Lake Park City Council meeting is now called to order.
Subscribe to your city podcast on your favorite podcast platform.
As promised, we're shifting over to the defensive side of the ball as we welcome you back on this special edition of Sports Den, honoring and congratulating and really taking a look at the entire season that was of the Class 5A state champion Spring Lake Park Panthers. And boy, Matt, that unit in the middle of this defense, that linebacker unit was strong all year long. We are pleased to now be joined Sawyer Thomsen, Cade Skelly, and Jake Dunbar here in studio with us now. I mean, you look at the numbers, everybody in the linebacker group had at least 80 tackles this season, over 50 solo tackles this year, combined for 4 interceptions, 14 tackles for loss. What was it about you guys that allowed you to play so well together and gel so well for this season and do as well as you did?
I just felt like we had a lot of great energy in our group, and we just loved when everyone else made big plays, and we were just excited for everyone. And it's just when you're not making a play, someone else is in your group and you're excited for them, and just the positive energy, the next play comes back to you and you make a great play.
Yeah. Sorry. I would just say, me and Jake, Sawyer a little bit, but me and Jake have been linebacker buddies since as long as we can remember. 4th grade is when I think we both started playing together, linebacker, and just that chemistry that we've known each other, that brotherhood we built, and then also just like Sawyer said, that mentality of the linebacker that kind of has to be the loudest voice on the field. So I think having a lot of experience starting as sophomores, that gave us the opportunity to dominate this year.
Yeah, I would also agree with that. It came down to experience. We've all 3 of us played as sophomores, so we had a lot of experience to make plays going into our senior year.
Yeah, Cade and Jake, you guys are the middle linebackers in the defense. We have to break you guys up into groups here for the special, but the defensive line, such a huge part of the defense and stopping the run. With the weapons you had up front, with you guys as a group, How did you feel that was going to be a strength of the team coming into the year?
It's always nice when the D-line does their job. Like, it's a lot easier for me to make plays when the D-line crushes every single time to help me make the plays.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, yeah, we got to give credit to those guys because without them doing their job, we wouldn't be able to have as many tackles and make as many plays as we could.
Yeah, and Sawyer, how much of an advantage is it to have basically 10 senior starters coming in? Most of those guys who had played varsity before coming into the year. What does that do for you guys as a group to maybe get a head start early in the year?
Just like the experience, you know, like what it takes, you know, like what doesn't work, what does work, like you're ready for like what's about to come because you have that experience and you're ready to go. So just having that and all the guys having that and knowing what it takes, that like really pushes over the edge.
For Cade, at the recent banquet, you received the Panther Award. What does it mean to you to be honored with this recognition here now as your career is finished?
I would just say it means a lot, just knowing that many teammates voted me and thought that high of me. It's like our character award, so I just got to be thankful, and I'm super grateful for that.
This defense gave up 13 points per game all season. You didn't give up more than 23 in a single game. I know like winning teams are striving for perfection. Like what, for any of you guys, what was a moment where you guys felt like you slipped up or didn't play to the standard you wanted? Like where was a game where you guys thought we need to pick it up a little bit?
I thought the first round of playoffs, Cooper, I feel like that's a team we should have not let them score 14 points on us, and that kind of made us a little upset. Kind of took that little personal going into the Buffalo game, and then we played much better that game and the rest of the year.
Another game was Brainerd. I thought they had a couple field goals. They had a lot of points in the first half. We ended up shutting them down in the second half, but I thought they scored too much in the first half to make it a 17-10 game.
All right, again, appreciate all your guys' time. Sawyer, Thomsen, Cade, Skelly, Jake Dunbar, three of the linebackers on this Panther defense. This Panther defense, they gave up 13 points a game. We talked about it, Ted, because they had great linebackers. They had some good guys in the backfield as well, too, that helped them to such a low mark, right?
Yeah, Matt, these guys made plays all year long. Coming up after the break, Marcus Snyder, Colin Welch, as well as Adam Stewart join me. Stick around.
The past comes alive at North Metro TV, where we can help you transfer your old videotapes, films, cassette tapes, record albums, and even photographs and slides to DVD and digital so you can enjoy them again. North Metro TV, bringing the past to life.
We continue featuring the defensive side of the ball as we welcome you back to this special edition of Sports Den, highlighting the Class 5A state champion football team, Spring Lake Park Panthers. Let's head to the defensive secondary, the defensive backs right now. We are joined by Marcus Snyder, Colin Welch, and also Adam Stewart joins us in this segment. I'll start first with you, Colin. You know, we talk about early in the season how this thing got started. I mean, you're playing Two Rivers. You're in a one-possession game, and you know, Two Rivers just had a score to kind of cut it in the fourth quarter, and then you kind of stepped up and made that play. What did that play kind of do to springboard you the rest of the season? Because you certainly did, whether it was on special teams or defense, certainly made some plays this year.
Yeah, I think that play specifically got it going for the whole team. On that play specifically, I didn't really see the ball coming at me until it was like halfway there because I couldn't see the quarterback when he was throwing it. But yeah, I saw it, was able to pick it off, able to run it back, and yeah, I think that just sparked the entire, especially the offense, because I think they really got it going after that play. So yeah, it just sparked everything.
Talking about big plays, Marcus, you had 7 interceptions this year. Yep. Some of those great plays, some of those you get a few right in your hands because you've got a good defensive line that are putting the quarterback under duress. So, you know, how many easy ones do you remember having where like we watch the highlights, we do it on SportsCenter and go, what were they looking at right here? It's a lot easier watching on TV.
Yeah, for sure. Having, you know, all those guys back in the front, you know, getting in the quarterback's face, you know, I've definitely got a lot of easy ones, I would say, you know, just right place, right time. And, you know, it just comes from our whole defense at the end of the day. You know, our linebackers do a really good job keeping everything in front of them. Nothing gets behind them, so it lets me do a lot of, you know, ball hawk stuff, and I can kind of play out of my zone a little bit.
you guys all kind of played different roles, like Colin, some special teams and defense. We got an offensive player as well as a defensive one. Adam, starting with you, what are some of the moments from the state title run that you're favorite that stand out?
Yeah, I'd say Nolan's first touchdown. I was right there to like watch it. I got to go celebrate with him after, and then our very last stop on defense. You know, everyone just kind of starts celebrating after Cade's interception there, and actually, one of the coaches had to pull me in to make sure I would go for our victory formation, and those will definitely be memories I'll keep for a long time.
And Colin and Marcus, what about you guys too? Playing parts in the defense and special teams, what stands out about the run?
I think Marcus's pick six stands out to me a lot. I think coming out of halftime in that St. Thomas game, we were really confident in ourselves. We knew that we were in a good spot, still being down, and I think Marcus being able to make that play, I think that just put a smile on a lot of our faces. So I think that was one.
Yeah, for sure. That interception probably been replaying in my head still a little bit since. But just the way our team has been able to come together, offense and defense. You know, at halftime we were down against St. Thomas, and just being able to rally together and just know that we were still in it and we knew that we were going to be able to handle business was something that I really, really liked.
We are going to talk about, Ted and I, a couple of our favorite moments from the run. One of mine, this is a little bit of a spoiler for later in the show, but Colin had 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns this season. One of them was a fun moment. I was at an Armstrong game. You actually missed a return for a touchdown early, but you got it back later in the game. Just how much pride did you take in that side of your game? Because there were some nights where the offense maybe didn't have it, but the defense and special teams picked it up, and vice versa. Like every group, you guys were capable of performing in one of the 3 phases, and special teams, Colin, was a big part of your game this year.
Honestly, yeah, I think I took more pride in it than my defense position. I don't know if that sounds good or not, but I mean, yeah, it was really important to me because I felt like I was really good at it compared to a lot of these other return guys that I was seeing, and I think just knowing that I was able to produce at the level that I was, I just wanted the ball on every single return. So when teams wouldn't kick it to me, I was a little disappointed. But yeah, it definitely sparked our offense when they were slow. I said that before, but not only the offense, I think it sparked our entire stadium, to be honest.
Adam, your dad is in his 8th year. This was his 8th year as head coach of this program. What's it like to grow up in that household and be around football so much?
Yeah, you start out young, you join the program young. It's just your dream to play with all these high school guys. I've been looked up to them for a long time. I was 3 years old, hanging out at practices, a little bit of babysitting here and there. So, I just want to be like those guys who were making plays when I was young, and to be able to go out there and win a championship for the team I've been following for 17 years of life. It's just an honor.
And we'll finish up with you, Marcus. I mean, you showed up when the lights were bright, and we're talking about a play against Alexandria, right? An interception against them, an interception against St. Thomas Academy. Kind of take us through those plays and what made those plays so big. The one that really sticks out to me is Alexandria, because points were really at a premium. I believe they were kind of driving at that point in time. I mean, just kind of take us through those moments when your team really needed plays in some of these closer games.
Yeah, we knew we were always just one punch away from breaking everything open. And, like I said before, sometimes just right spot at the right moment against Alex, that interception. And, we just always knew that we were able to break through at any point, and just being able to keep that motivation throughout the game, knowing that at any point that we can just destroy and just eliminate them. It's always a good thing.
It was awesome to be able to watch you guys, like you said, take the football away at any point. Once again, congratulations on the state championship, and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, Matt, if there's one thing we know about Spring Lake Park football, it is built at the line of scrimmage. And coming up, we're finishing with the big boys up front.
Yeah, that's right, Ted. We're finishing out with the linemen in the trenches on both sides of the ball to close out the state championship interview portion of this Spring Lake Park special on Sports Den next. All right, the game of football is won in the trenches, and we are digging deep here for the final interview segment of the show, talking with members of the Spring Lake Park offensive line and defensive line. Jaxon Drum joins us, as well as Brodie, Gemlo, and Jamal Smith, the latter two of which are part of the defensive unit up front for the Spring Lake Park Panthers. Jaxon, let's start with you. The Panthers, they have that identity, an option running football type of team. I don't think they're necessarily known for having the biggest offensive linemen necessarily, but certainly some of the toughest. Tell me about what the offensive line's identity was this year, what you guys wanted to be known for.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely weren't the biggest. Everyone knows that. We usually aren't. But we always come in with this mindset that we are the best. Like, it doesn't matter if the D lineman is 300 pounds, if they're going to this college. Like, it doesn't matter how good they are, where they stand, how tall they are. You know, we always go in with that mindset that we can get lower, we can be more physical, we can keep pounding at them over and over and over until they get tired, and we know that we have the ability to be better than anyone out there despite our size.
And Jaxon, you know, we were talking with others earlier in the program about the adjustments schematic-wise and what you were doing formationally and running the football. Was there any sort of adjustment in what you guys were doing from your blocking schemes up front, or was it just business as usual plowing away?
I mean, for the most part, it's know your job, do your job. For me, I switched positions, so it was a little bit of a learning curve there, but I got it pretty early on. I think it really wasn't too much different. We practiced versus many different defenses. We knew whatever look we got, we knew our rules, we knew how to go out there and do them the way that we practiced all week, and we were always confident in our ability to go out there and perform. So.
Jamal and Brodie, you go to the defensive side a little bit. You guys can both do a little bit of everything up there, but the impression I got, Brodie, you're a bit more of a run stopper. Jamal, you're a pass rushing threat. That's kind of your specialty. So for both of you guys, how would you define your skill sets and how they kind of complemented each other up front for the Panthers defensively?
I would say like having such a big, strong D-tackle group is very important to get to the pass rush, because once we stop the run and everything in the middle, that's when I can go get the QB and just attack and keep on attacking and wear out the offensive lineman.
I would say when you have two defensive linemen like me and Jamal, when one of the D linemen is doing something and he's not having the greatest game, that means the other guy is having a great game, getting in the backfield, doing whatever he needs to do.
Now for Jamal, I mean, you had 3 games this year with 2 or more sacks. Do you have a favorite individual performance as you're able to look back on it? I remember I was there for the Irondale game, and you were certainly getting after it. In that game, of course, the rivalry game, so that maybe that one sticks out a little bit more, but which one kind of is at the top of your head?
I would say the first time we faced Buffalo was at week 8. Week 8, we just kept on attacking. He just kept on attacking the quarterback, number 14. It was I'm number 14 as well, so it was like a 14 versus 14. And I was just hearing like he's a big QB, fast runner and everything. And just coming out in the beginning with the early sack, I just knew I'm going to have one of those games.
Brodie, there were some impressive offensive linemen you guys faced off against in the state tournament. I know you're somebody that wants to play some football at the next level. What were like did you think about your opponent on some of those O-lines that like got you a little more juiced up for some of those matchups? Did you need that?
No, I don't really think so. I mean, I don't think it really matters who I'm playing and what offers they have and who they are. I'm just going to come out and prepare the same way I would for anyone else.
And Brodie, you know, he was talking about, where you maybe are going to play or at the next level. You know, I look at you and, got that college-ready frame. But what is the, for maybe somebody that doesn't know, how do you balance like a high school football season where you're going and you're like, hey, we can win a state championship, and you also kind of have, these letters and some of these calls kind of coming in as well?
I would definitely say it's pretty time-consuming with all the stuff you have on the weekends for visits and stuff like that. So it's kind of, you got to keep a good balance between your school, your high school practice, and then talking to these colleges, going on visits and doing stuff like that.
Last question for me, for each of you, did you guys give yourself any moment to kind of appreciate playing at US Bank Stadium? What did that mean to you? Did you have to have a pinch me moment where you said, I'm just going to check this place out, get this out of my system? That had to be crazy walking in the first time.
I think for me, the moment that kind of all hit me was the semifinal game when we first walked out there, and the game before us was going on a little longer than we had expected, so I had some time
to stand there and kind of really just take it all in, look in the stands, listen, just before I had to kind of lock in and change my mindset into going out there and playing a great game of football. So I think that was a good opportunity for me to do that.
Once again, congratulations, guys. It was a pleasure to kind of watch you, not only this year, but the last couple of years, kind of do your work at the line of scrimmage. So once again, congratulations and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And coming up right after this, we're going to wrap up this show and we're going to put the final bow on this celebratory version of a Sports Den with our favorite moments from the state championship season for Spring Lake Park. Stick around.
We in Spring Lake Park believe in building a strong and safe community. Our city moves onward and upward while holding on to our traditions and roots. We maintain a small town feel even though we are nestled next to the big city. We believe in being good neighbors and building community with safe neighborhoods. And we believe in citizenry and promote being active both physically and socially. We in Spring Lake Park love to play and believe in having an abundance of parks, playgrounds, and green space so that everyone can take a moment to enjoy the natural beauty that surrounds us. We believe in educating our children well, so we use the most advanced tools of learning to ensure continued success and bright futures. We promote athletics to keep our children fit and healthy and build a sense of teamwork. We in Spring Lake Park believe in providing a good, stable home for industry and small business to thrive. We have a large variety of successful businesses that have found continued success and benefit from excellent visibility off Highway 65. And a large customer base, as we are located only 15 minutes outside of downtown Minneapolis. Come visit us in Spring Lake Park, and you will see why we believe our city is one of a kind.
We want to say thank you to each and every single one of the coaches and players that came in here. All 15 of them. It is the biggest interview show that we've done here on Sports Den, at least since Matt and I have been here. And now as we kind of take one final look, put a bow on this football season, Matt, what are some favorite moments? What moment stood out to you here covering this team this season?
I kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit earlier in the show, but it was homecoming. And we heard the coaches, John Stewart and Daulton Ohlinger, mention that as kind of a key game where they thought, oh, I think this team might be for real. I remember it when Jim Paulson of the Minnesota Star Tribune is out covering the game. You go, this might be a special team because Jim Paulson's poking around. And that was the game, if you remember, Colin Welch, we talked about it earlier, nearly returns the opening kickoff of the game for a touchdown. He gets caught by a turf monster. Spring Lake Park's drive, despite being inside the red zone practically to start, stalls out. They don't score. It was kind of a slow start for the offense, but the defense played tremendously. Welch gets an opportunity and takes a kickback 99 yards for a touchdown in the second half. And I just think that was a key story throughout the year. Well, watching Welch kind of get that second chance at redemption, that's a fun moment. It being a game where the offense was not at the top of their game, but the Panthers still ended up pulling away and winning in pretty dominant fashion. It showed you that it was a team that could win in a lot of different ways. So it was a game I got to cover in person. That's why it stands out. But I think that was like a pretty important turning point in a game where, you heard the coaches talk about it. They felt like it was a serious title contending year for the Panthers when they won that game.
For me, it's that final stop against Alexandria. I mean, what a tough, hard-fought game. Everything coming down to the final play, to one play, and they need to make a stop to be able to advance to US Bank Stadium and the state semifinals, and they find a way to do it, and then it's pandemonium afterwards. Everybody kind of screaming, everybody yelling, everybody celebrating that they're finally getting to play on the big stage at the home of the Minnesota Vikings. And I also think it kind of has a little bit of an extra meaning being where the game was played. At Monticello High School, before everything kind of got realigned this year, that was a team that was, a little bit of a thorn in the side of SLP, right? This is the last time they met. The Magic got the win. And now going back there after last season to kind of get the win and advance to US Bank Stadium, I thought was a huge moment. And yeah, it was one of the most electric moments of the year. Man, what a season it was. And we are going to be back Next week, we are going to get things rolling in the winter season. We're going to get you up to date on everything that happened in December. Matt, how about the court? How about the rink? Hoops? Hockey? It's all here, ladies and gentlemen. So until next week, I'm Ted LaRue. That's Matt Dean. We'll see you next week. And congratulations once again to the Spring Lake Park Panthers.
Sports Den is filmed.